And we can see now that these kind of terrorist organizations are expressing their own forces by using democracy in order to get more and more power. And I would like to say a few words about this. Because, after Hamas, before Hamas won the elections in the Palestinian Authority, and there was a decision, or there was a question whether they can participate in the elections in the Palestinian Authority or not, I checked all the constitutions of the world, different states in Europe, of course, the United States and others, and also in Israel. There is no place in the world in which terrorist organization or this kind of extremist groups can participate in election. Because it is understood in every democracy that democracy is more than voting, it's more than elections, it's more than system of voting. It's about values. And in order to be part of this, you need to accept the values of democracy. In Israel, our Supreme Court canceled the right of a racist party a few years ago to participate in election in Israel because their platform was against the values of Israel as a democracy. In Spain, a party that supported the Basque in a violent way couldn't participate in elections in Spain, and this was approved by the European Court for Justice or something, excuse me. And I checked the new constitutions in Afghanistan and Iraq, and everywhere it is clear that democracy can defend itself. This was the lesson that Europe learned after the 30s, in which the Nazis abused the democratic system in order to get more power. The only places in which this doesn't appeal, it's the places in which this is needed the most. Lebanon. We have Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization, or basically an armed militia, and also a political partner to the Lebanese government. And this makes the war against terror almost impossible. I would like to share with you one of our decisions at July 12th, when there was this unprovoked attack from Hezbollah to Israel. And as a member of the Israeli cabinet, we needed to decide what are we doing. And we could attack Lebanon as a state, because the attack on our soldiers came from Lebanon as a state. But our choice was to fight Hezbollah in Lebanon and not to fight the state of Lebanon. And Israel paid the price for this. Because a war between Israel and Lebanon, with all the respect, could have ended in 2-3 days. But when the soldiers need to look for the terrorists, where they hide, when they hide among civilians, we need to take a completely different conditions into the way we act in order to fight terrorism. And then a few months later, we could see the Lebanese government that was accepted and embraced by the international community when we decided to open or to give an answer to the attacks of Hezbollah on Israel. So the international community embraced the government and let us act against Hezbollah. But today, they are sitting in the same government. And Hezbollah is getting more missiles through the Syrian-Lebanese border, from Iran, from Syria, from others. And they are also political partners. And in a few months from now, we are going to have the decisions on the International Court on Hariri murder. And I don't know what's going to be the reaction there in Lebanon. And this, the possibility of terrorist organization to abuse the system is something that affects the possibility of others to confront terrorism. As we could see in the Palestinian Authority. The elections in the Palestinian Authority were supervised by the international community. And when I came to the United States a few weeks before the elections, and I said, listen, we shouldn't give Hamas the opportunity to participate in the elections, You know what the answers that I got? I was given 2 different reasons why to let them participate in the elections. One was, well, they are not going to win. They are going to get up to 20-25%. Never believe election polls. And the other was, look at Lebanon. Hezbollah become more moderate being a political partner. And a few months later, we got this attack when Hezbollah kidnapped Israeli soldiers as a provocative action. So there is one thing, and maybe your initiative can embrace this and do this as something which is not only an Israeli idea, because unfortunately when ideas are coming from Israel, the perception is that this is against the Arab world, which is not. But let's do something, a universal code for election that can be embraced and adapted in our region, and especially when elections are being supervised by the United Nations or the international community, it should be according to the same conditions who can and who cannot participate in elections. And basically, I'm talking about those that accept the rules of law and, of course, the values of democracy. Now, I believe that since I'm talking about the region or about the world from a satellite point of view, and we have these 2 different camps, one is the camp of extremists that are using terror, and the other is the camp of moderate, so-called moderate, pragmatics, whatever. We need to understand that everybody needs to choose a side, to choose a camp. Because it's about, or we need all the members in our camp to work together against the others. Because all of us are being threatened by the same ideology of hatred, by those that are using terror against us. And I mentioned Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas. And I want to say that there are those that have chosen a side, even though it's not according to their ideology. I mean, Syria is not is a secular, or the leadership is secular. It's not a state that expresses the same ideology of Iran, but according to its own interest. For now, I hope that this is temporary. They are part or are working with the same camp. And we can see now Turkey moving from one side to the other. And Turkey is, well, the only Islamic democracy in the region. And I don't want to enter all the reasons why and whether this is connected to the answer they were given from Europe or the no answer that they were given from Europe or not. But at first, Erdogan decided to sit on the fence and to offer his services as a mediator. At first to Israel and Syria in order to achieve peace between Israel and Syria, and later between the United States or the free world and Iran. But Turkey also needs to know that there is no place on the fence to sit and to work with both sides or to play different games in with different sides. This is the battle of the century, and they need to choose whether they are with us or against us. And I hope, truly hope, because the relations of Turkey and the free world, and also with Israel, but this is just a small piece of the big jigsaw, are very important to all of us. And we can see that in different places, these terrorist organizations are using failed states or weak governments. And then we need to see how to enhance the power of governments in order to give them the possibility, when they want to, fight internal terrorism and not be used by the terrorists as a territory to act against others.